Hello guys, welcome to Cafe at Simplify, and we are diving into our psychology objectives. Yeah, the first one is pass psychology with ease one, and we are going to pass psychology with ease two. We have up to ease five. Yeah, we're just easing things. And so, what is the three-stage model of memory proposed by Richard Atkinson and Richard Ashfrin? And we see that these two proposed this three-stage memory model, and it is from sensory, that is the receiving part of it, then the working memory, and then long-term storing it. So this model outlines how information moves from the sensory memory to working memory, yeah, and then even with enough encoding and rehearsal to the long-term memory. What type of memory stores information about sensory inputs received from the environment? We see that you've read about sensory nerves. So it is the sensory memory which is still responsible for that, for storage, for which type of memory stores information about sensory input received. So we see that it is the sensory memory. What term refers to the process of transforming information from into a form that can be stored in memory? We see that the answer is encoding is the process of transforming information into form that can be stored in memory. We relate it to business communication, where we talk about encoding, transforming a message into a thought. Yeah. So, according to the levels of processing theory, which type of processing leads to better memory retention? Type of, now here let's just use elimination method. We are talking about type of processing which leads to better memory retention. Better memory retention means keeping it for a very long time. Shallow? No. By elimination, let's say I've not tried. Repetitive processing leads to better retention. Okay. Rapid processing, no. And we have deep processing. That means when you process something, you meditate upon it. Yeah, it will stay in the brain for long. What is the capacity of short-term memory according to George Miller's classic research? Now, this is very interesting because we actually apply it without knowing. But George Miller's classic research, which sometimes they call Miller's magic number, yeah, is 7 or minus 2 items. What does this mean? That means an individual is able to keep 7 plus 2, that means 9 items in the short term without forgetting it shortly, or 7 minus 2, that means 5. So we are able to put things in short-term memory from 5 to 9. Yeah, related to memorizing phone numbers. What is the term for the process of maintaining information in short-term memory? By rehearsing it. You rehearse, you repeat, repetition, and all that. So that term is called maintenance rehearsal. By rehearsing it, yeah, you can even use elimination to answer this. So here I talked about Miller's magic number by George Miller, and we have seen that. So maintenance rehearsal by rehearsing it. What is the role of the hippocampus in the formation of new memories? Actually, here the hippocampus, its role is the hippocampus is not involved in the storage or retrieval in the long term directly, but it is actually responsible for consolidation. Yeah, consolidation of short-term memories. It brings them together, but does not take part in does not directly store them, but it takes part. It is essential for those new memories. So it is consolidation of short-term memories. What is the term for the inability? Inability to recall information that was previously stored in memory. That means you are forgetting it. Yeah, this would be the general answer. But when here initially I had put forgetting, but when I read more research, this retrograde. So the answer here is C. Retrograde amnesia, yeah, is the specific one whereby you forget something very shortly. A term for the inability to recall information that was previously stored. Previously is just like just previously. So it's like asking you. I think this one happens to nearly all of us. You ask somebody, "What's your name?" For the first time, they tell you, "I'm Kezia." Then after 10 minutes, you have already forgotten it. That is retrograde amnesia. According to, but if it is just what term, if the question was what is the term for the inability to recall information, the answer would be forgetting. But that was previously stored just previously is retrograde amnesia. According to the decay theory of forgetting, what happens to memories over time? So we see that memories over time actually fade. Yeah, memories of fade or erode with passage of time. The answer is C. Think you can try to recall the memories of primary. How many do you recall? Just a few. Probably recall most times negative ones. You don't forget the child caned you. Yeah. So, but even the best ones are always recalled. Yeah, because I recall the best ones, but even the bad ones we always recall. So sad. What is the term for the phenomenon where older memories disrupt the recall of newer memories? Yeah, you keep remembering, you want to recall old ones, but new ones are coming in. So you can imagine such a proactive interference, and the answer is proactive interference. The term where older memories disrupt the recall of new ones, that is a proactive interference. Yeah, imagine you have got a, a new boyfriend, but every time you keep remembering the old one, the old one. Yeah. So what is the that is proactive interference. So what is the perception? What is perception in psychology? We talked about the perception, how you perceive things, you view things. So we see that the answer is process of memorizing interpretation of sensory information. The answer is A. The interpretation of sensory information you perceive. What is perception? We see that it is how you perceive things. The interpretation of sensory information is what you call perception. Which term describes the minimum difference in, in stimulation required for a person to detect a difference between two stimuli? We see that that is under Weber's law. This is very interesting. Yeah. Why? Let's take an example here, and you tell me if this Weber's law really applies. Imagine you're holding 2 kilograms of weight in your hand, yeah? And according to Weber's law, the just noticeable difference is the smallest amount of change you can detect. Yeah, it is called just noticeable difference, the smallest amount you can detect. That means if I add 0.000, you will still think that you're holding 2 kilograms. But when I add 0.2, 0.1, you will feel there is some weight which has been gained. But then this thing makes a comparison a large with a large mass as well. Say if you are to add 0.1 kilogram on this, which is a small increase, you might be able to feel the difference. However, remember if you're having 2 kilograms, you add 0.1, you might feel the difference, okay? You feel like it has increased. But now imagine you are holding 20 kgs. You need to add 1 kilogram to notice the difference. When you have 20 kgs and you add 0.1, you still feel like you're holding 20 kgs. But if this 20 kg you add 1 kilogram, now it become 21. Now you start feeling there is that added difference. So now that one becomes the just noticeable difference. Yeah, it is the minimum difference in stimulation required for a person to detect a difference between two stimuli. That means if I'm holding 20 kilogram, you add 0.1, I still feel it is 20. 0.5, I still feel it is 20. When you add 1 kilogram, 21, I feel like, oh, it is now heavier. That is the just noticeable difference by Webler. Yeah. 53, in context of vision, what is the blind spot? Yeah, this is from biology, O level and P4. The blind spot is a region where the optic nerve exits the eye, lacking photoreceptors. What is commonly known about the blind spot is that it has no those photoreceptors, so it lacks photoreceptors. What is the term for the organization of the visual field into objects that stand out from their surrounding? What is the term for the organization of visual field into objects that stand out from their surrounding? We see it is called figure ground perception. Figure ground perception, that means if we are in a photo, yeah, and then there is a subject or a person, that perception that makes you to think that even those trees are part of the background is this. That is where this concept comes in. The organization of the visual field into objects that stand out from their background. The photo is there. People and objects, people and the trees are all objects. But what makes you to think that the objects are the one forming, those trees are the one forming the background? Why not the people? Yeah. Even take an example, even when the people go and let's say at the back of those trees and they still take photos. Yeah, we'll still take the photos like they are the trees, like they are the background. So that is what we call figure ground perception, the term for the organization of the visual field into objects that stand out from their surrounding. What is what is what is the Gestalt principle that suggests that elements tend to be grouped together if they are similar. Gestalt principle that suggests that elements tend to be grouped together if they are similar to each other. We can use elimination here. We are talking about similarity, and the answer is B. Which depth Q relies on the fact that objects closer to the observer tend to block out part of the view of a more distinct objects. Yeah, I think we also studied this in physics in A level. Can imagine holding a pen. Yeah, you can even try it. Hold your finger like this and put it in front. You can find just and focus on that finger. It can block even a whole building. It can block even an entire person. So this is what they are questioning, examining, and that is called interposition. Yeah, and linear perspective refers to oh the answer is interposition. Oh, I tried to put here what these ones also refer. So the linear perspective refers to the convergence of parallel lines as they recede into the distance. Then texture, linear is all about convergence of parallel lines. Then texture is all about texture details in case they set in a different way in objectives. Then relative size is all about still size, how sizes appear. Yeah. What is the term for the ability to perceive objects as unchanging, consistent shapes despite changes in the angle, lighting, and distance? Yeah, we see that is perception, perception, constance. Eh, Wait, the answer is C. What is the term for the ability to perceive objects as unchanging, consistent shapes? Oh, you're talking about consistent shapes despite changes in angle, lighting, and distance. When we see shapes, consistent shapes, this gives us the underlying, and forgotten this, control U. It gives us the underlying reason. But if they are just eliminated it, the term for the inability to perceive objects as unchanging despite changes in the angle, lighting, and distance, it will be perception consistency. But when they put consistent shapes, then it is shape consistency. Yeah. In the auditory system, that is about the hear and perception. What is the term for the perception? What is the term for the perception of different pitches? That term is called pitch. The highness or lowness of sound. What is the phenomena where individuals tend to fill in missing parts of visual scenes to perceive a complete whole object? That phenomena is called closure. Closure. where individuals tend to fill in missing parts of visual scenes to perceive a complete whole object. Yeah, don't know how to explain that, but closure is that imagining you have things that don't link up. You try to anticipate if this, and if this happens like this will be the outcome. Yeah, you fill in those missing parts. Yeah, which theory of color vision? Yeah, we have to know the theories of color, but here we can use elimination to answer this. Which theory of color vision suggests that there are three types of color receptors in the eye, each sensitive to a different range of wavelengths. Theory word, here the underlying word is the theory which talks about three colors. Theory is triword, control you. So the answer here is chromatic theory. Yeah. What is motivation in psychology? We have seen that motivation is all about pursuing goals. So it is the inner state that activates and directs behavior towards a goal. 61 is C. According to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, which needs must be satisfied before higher needs can be addressed? We see that the needs which have to be satisfied are those physiological needs like food, water, shelter, and the answer is B, physiological needs. What is the term for the theory of motivation that emphasizes the role of internal factors in driving behavior such as curiosity and personal growth? We see that that is the term for the theory of motivation that emphasizes the role of internal factors in driving behavior. And we see that that is arousal theory. Hope. The term for the theory of motivation that emphasizes the role of internal, sorry. Here the underlined word is internal. Control you. The internal factors in driving behavior such as curiosity and personal growth. So we see that it is self determination, internal. Without this internal, it would be arousal. Like arousal also comes from inside, but whenever they put the role of internal factors in driving behavior, it is self determination. Like you are the governing self. You set what you want to be. So you have that inner drive. Yeah, and rate it basically to that. 64, according to your case Dodson law, what is the relationship between arousal and performance? Arousal and performance, one cause the other. Arousal is optimum at arousal and performance are unrated. Arousal always leads to better performance. Arousal is always associated with better performance. Arousal and performance are unrelated. Performance is optimal at moderate levels of arousal. We'll go with B. Performance is optimal at moderate levels of arousal. So they always go in hand according to this law. Performance improves, increase the arousal up to a certain point, after which it starts to decline. And we go to 60, we go to 65.